type compound. This is exactly, I've probably said 300 times the last couple of years that they'll attack a school with a mental patient type individual with a cutout from some leftist right-wing training camp that's run by the Ford Foundation funded Southern Poverty Law Center, who's got hundreds of millions in offshore bank accounts and is connected to the Communist Chinese and others. By the way, the word is they're looking at leaving the U.S. and fighting the U.S. from overseas. They have nothing to do with helping black folks vote in Alabama. So truly unbelievable. I am speechless at this point that Matt Bracken is going to be coming up in the next segment. I wanted to play, just because it's so important, Pence is absolutely right that the entire Kim Jong-un family is incredibly evil, and our media siding with them and praising them is truly twisted. Pence said, I ignored the dictator's sister that our media played up like she was some goddess. So here's that clip. Pence blasts evil Kim family, North Korea regime to the chagrin of our own globalist media that just like North Korea is a part of a foreign parasitic power. Here is that report. Then we'll come back with Matt Bracken live.
North Korea is the most tyrannical and oppressive regime on the planet. As the United Nations has documented repeatedly, North Korea is a nation that oppresses its people. 7 out of 10 North Koreans require food assistance just to survive. Over 1 million North Koreans were let to starve and die in the 1990s under this regime. Torture, brutality, imprisonment. More than 100,000 North Koreans as we speak are in modern-day gulags. As President Trump said memorably, North Korea is today nothing short of a prison state. That's the reality. And so the fact that North Korea is developing and pursuing nuclear weapons that could be delivered on ballistic missiles to the continental United States is completely unacceptable. And the fixed policy of the United States of America is that we are going to continue with all options on the table to bring intensifying economic and diplomatic pressure to bear until North Korea, once and for all, completely and verifiably abandons its nuclear weapons and ballistic missile program. That's the fixed policy of the United States of America. Now, as President Trump has said many times, he said, I always believe in talking. We've made it very clear that we're open. We're open to communicating our policy to the regime in North Korea. But what North Korea needs to understand, and as I made clear in an announcement in Japan, when we announced a new round of sanctions that will be imposed, the largest ever sanctions imposed by the United States, and we're confident our allies will join us on it in the days ahead, that nothing will change until the day comes that North Korea permanently abandons its nuclear weapons and ballistic missile programs and ceases to threaten the United States of America.
That's right. And be used as a pawn by the Communist Chinese and others to menace the entire region. It's a total power play for the South China Sea. We'll be back. By the way, he's the patsy, and more that's clear what he is. Nick Cruz is just now showing up in court. We'll have that live for you in 1 minute. Stay with us. Alex Jones here to tell you about how you can help spread liberty worldwide while also enjoying what I have found to be the best tasting 100% organic coffee on the planet. For more than a decade, my favorite coffee has come from the high mountains of southern Mexico, where the Chiapas farmers grow their unique shade-grown Arabica beans. We have now managed to secure these sought-after beans in a highly customized blend. Discover and try a bag of the Patriot Blend 100% organic coffee at InfoWarsLife.com. This coffee gives you a long, smooth pick-me-up for hours without the headaches and heartburn that so many other coffees give me personally. Hands down, this is my favorite coffee, and it's taken us years to secure connections directly to the Chiapas Mexican farmers. Drop by the site today, order a bag or two, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Available in original or with our immune support infusion blend. You will be supporting a free press, all the while enjoying a truly great-tasting cup of my favorite coffee. Available at InfoWarsLife.com.
crashing through the lies and disinformation. It's Alex Jones.
All right, let's go to what's happening as we speak in Broward County, just north of Miami there, with the 17-plus dead, with Nikolas Cruz talking before the judge. Here it is.
How would you like to proceed today? Are you seeking to hold the defendant no bond and a finding of proof evident, presumption great?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you may proceed.
Your Honor, the state's relying on the sworn affidavit that the court has been provided as to the 17 counts of first-degree murder and the contents of the sworn affidavit by detectives citing the actions of the defendant in going to Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School on February 14th, 2018, with a premeditated design in that he went loaded with an AR-15 rifle. He had additional ammunition with him and shot 17 individuals who later died as a result of the gunshot wounds, and then he fled the scene. So the state is seeking a no bond hold on the defendant.
Okay, defense?
Your Honor, the defense has no arguments at this time and will defer until further court proceedings. We would formally invoke Mr. Cruz's right to remain silent, and that notification relates to any law enforcement agencies that are involved in this case, both at a state and federal level.
Okay, I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit. Mr. Cruz filed in your case, and I find probable cause. I further find the proof of guilt to be evident or the presumption great. Therefore, Mr. Cruz, you're going to be held without bond until further order of the court. This order is without prejudice for you to file a motion to set bond with your assigned division judge and request a hearing under State v. Arthur. Does anybody know, has he been assigned a division judge yet?
Yes, he has, Your Honor. He's been assigned to Judge Shears.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Sir, you're going to be held no bond.
All right, folks, there you go. Nikolas Cruz shows up in court zombie-like. We have had multiple clips of eyewitnesses who told local news and national news and Texas news, KPRC, KHOU, you name it, that there were multiple shooters, that they saw him without a gun while the shooting was going on. And KHOU said, this is big, we're going to air it tonight, never aired it, but the reporter, Matt Muzell, put it out. Then we have more footage of KPRC with a very articulate high school senior, a Hispanic lady, but we don't know her name. I'm guessing she's a senior, saying she's a senior at the school. And they don't show it on the news. Somebody shot an iPhone over the camera saying they trapped us both ends, drove us in, shot the teachers in the head, you name it. So the fact that, and I'm not saying the police are involved, it's a big bureaucracy, but they had drills there. They had Secret Service involved 4 weeks ago. I've had the witnesses on. We have guests on as well that are students that said that others said there were multiple shooters. Jalen Martin was on. So the fact that the news isn't running with this, and I already played it last hour, but when we post this on Facebook and YouTube, we'll tag it on. 2 clips of Matt Bracken in an hour interview last week. I got into it as well, saying new Oklahoma City, new school shooting, where they blame the right wing. And sure enough, this guy is at this very questionable white supremacist compound out in Florida, training to break away and make Florida its own country. And the guy immediately comes out and says, I confirm he paramilitarily trains with us. This is incredible. This is exactly the card we would expect to be played by the deep state. At this time, it's what Matt Bracken predicted. It's what I've been predicting. It's all the globalists have left. So Matt Bracken, former Navy SEAL, counterterrorism expert, and best-selling author, researcher. This is exactly what the move we would expect. And now we learn that his family's gone, dead recently. He's on psychotropics. He would do anything anybody asked. He was a total joke at the school. Autistic, clearly. This is the perfect cutout for this. I mean, what do you make of this? This is happening in real time, Matt Bracken.
You know, we're still in the first barely more than 24 hours, so there's a lot of noise and false reports. You know, reports of multiple shooters, like the back at the Beltway sniper, the white man in the white van. False reports can take on a life of their own. Echoes, things that are like in Las Vegas, multiple shooters from multiple positions, multiple buildings, often are a result of a cascade of police reports coming over top of one another, being heard as separate incidents.
Sure, but Vegas is now unraveled, and we're talking to witnesses, and we're airing witnesses that were with him while guns are going off, with Nikolas Cruz while they hear guns going off. That's pretty powerful.
Well, what was he doing at the school if he was expelled last year on the day of the shooting?
I'm not saying he's not a shooter. I'm not saying it didn't happen. Right. But, I mean, this is exactly what you were predicting Friday.
Well, I'm at this point, I have no reason to disbelieve that it's, not his gun, his ammunition.
Well, I want to be clear. I'm not saying he wasn't a shooter. We don't know. I'm just saying the timing of this, the eyewitnesses, these are very credible. This isn't like, we're thinking, multiple reports of a shooter, so you hear there's multiple shooters because reports came in. We've got people saying they're talking to him while guns are going off. Have you seen those videos?
Well, no, that's going to have to be sorted out, obviously, and it probably won't be if it doesn't suit a national narrative, a network narrative. But at this point, I tend to think not necessarily are these things a conspiracy. A lot of times, like in Las Vegas, the cover-up is a result of police covering up incompetence. If, for example, the FBI had, clear warnings about this guy last year, and, it got dropped into the bureaucratic cracks, and no action was taken.
Oh, but by the way, I mean, as you said, that's confirmed. Not just the FBI was warned. I mean, people have been warned about this for a long time with this guy.
And I've never heard of emails going out through a school saying that so-and-so is not allowed on campus with a backpack. I mean, that's very creepy and makes you wonder what the writer of that email knew or had been told. The fact that there was no home check on this guy after his I guess his father died when he was much younger. His mother died 3 months ago. So he's clearly skating on thin ice psychologically. If he's changing his meds or stopping his meds, that can cause a very abrupt change in behavior.
Well, he looks like a textbook lunatic to me, so I'm not saying he isn't one of the shooters. I'm just saying we have to look at all these credible people. I don't know if you've seen those videos, Matt. Just the whole timing of this just screams that we need to investigate, that this was at least known about and protected and wound up for the political. They're calling for gun control. They're blaming all gun owners. They're blaming Trump. I mean, this is a real godsend right now to the left.
Yeah, I can see Trump throwing AR-15s on the table as a bargaining chip. He's never been really a committed Second Amendment guy. I can see him, being a New Yorker, saying, "Well, maybe we need to do something about AR-15s." Of course, what they're not going to say socially. This could have happened in 1910 because that's how long we've had semi-automatic rifles.
Yeah, we have mentally ill people, and CNN says mass shootings are up. They're flat for 30 years, so that's a lie. They hype these. It's serious. It's a problem. But we need guns to protect ourselves from lunatics like this.
Or from the government, if it comes to, that type of a tyrannical push by, the government. If they, for example, if they manage to push Trump out with this phony Russia narrative, it could come to some kind of a civil war. And anybody that's served in the military knows there's basically two kinds of human beings: armed aggressors and disarmed victims. And if you don't want to be a disarmed victim, you at least have to be an armed defender. And that doesn't mean a double-barreled shotgun. That means something that's the equivalent of what the police can bring to bear.
And that's why the UN and the globalists want the semi-automatic battle rifles so that America is defenseless. They admit that. They say civilian ownership of firearms threatens the legitimate power monopoly of the state. That's UNIDIR. That's the UN. They say they want a monopoly of force over you. Matt, stay there. We've got Roger Stone coming in to give his take. I want to ask, the big assault of the Second Amendment's here. We've been so confident we can defend it. I've warned people they're planning stuff. And they are certainly going to use this to blame all gun owners and blame the Second Amendment. That's really the confirmed false flag here. We'll be back. I'm Alex Jones, newswars.com. Newswars.com. Spread that link. Make no mistake, we've made some major gains against the globalists, but they're striking back all over the world. Now more than ever is the time to get prepared with the highest quality emergency supplies across the board. Medical supplies, emergency supplies, communications, tactical, it's all there, and we're adding more and more every day of the very best products out there. So go to fortifiedsupply.com today to not just see the great products we offer there, but links to some of the other great sponsors that we have as well. That's FortifiedSupply.com. Now, joining us is a best-selling author and researcher, Michael Malice. MichaelMalice.com. He grew up behind the Iron Curtain, so he understands the tyranny of collectivism. He's at Twitter at Michael Malice. He's written Dear Reader, Kim Jong-il, and he's been over there and researched it. So again, Michael Malice, author of the Dear Reader about North Korea. Give us your expert take on where we are right now and the chances for war over there.
I talk about this heavily in my book. If you look at these countries, Libya is a great example, Iraq, and several others. When the countries liberalized, Romania was the example Kim Jong-il himself used. When these countries liberalized, very often the people at the top are shot, and with good reason. You look at Gaddafi, he was sodomized to death. Saddam Hussein was hung, and Libya had a nascent nuclear program. They agreed to give it up, and what happened is right now you have slavery there. So North Korea very quickly realizes the best defense is a good offense. Kim Jong-il said he wants to turn the country into a hedgehog, meaning one with nuclear missile spines pointing in every direction. And if you think about it, how much easier, I don't think they would have been running their mouths to this point if they didn't have nukes or at least some very, very strong weaponry. Something would have happened to him. So they are very conniving in their hold on power. They're very interested in self-preservation, and unfortunately, it's at the expense of the 25 million North Korean population who are the victims in this horrible, decades-long atrocity.
Don't they know the calculus has changed and that the whole strategy of patience and then the globalists using North Korea as a strategy of tension, that is coming to an end?
It is coming to an end, and they're scared, and they're clearly scared, and you see that they're reaching out to South Korea, their arch rival, in some kind of China very publicly last year, and in the recent months has been turning their backs on them. Russia, to some extent, has been turning their backs on them. Putin liked the idea that North Korea could kind of be a thorn in our side, but even he's not going to be defending, concentration camps and starving children for political purposes. He's a far cry from Stalin. So North Korea has been an international embarrassment, especially for China, although they do serve a purpose, but China wants to have this dignified appearance. The Olympics, is there any bigger symbol of global cooperation? That South Korea is having the Olympics now. This is, every country is turning their back on the North, and they don't know what to do. This is kind of uncharted territory for them. Thank God. And I'm not saying this is the end of the North Korean regime, which I pray every day that it is, but if this were the end, this is what the end would look like.
They are a hostage nation of just people who don't even know what planet they're on, and that's why they're the greatest victims, people under communism. Michael Malice, the book Dear Reader, available everywhere. Twitter, Michael Malice. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Alex.
Introducing Icarin, a 30-day liver and kidney cleanse, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. We have set out with top researchers and developers to bring you the strongest, purest, most potent, documented system for your liver and your kidneys. There are 2 different formula blends in one powerful capsule. It also funds the InfoWar, a total 360 win. Icarin, available now at InfoWarsLife.com.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show. Corruption. It's Alex. Lines of the InfoWar.
About 40 miles north of Miami, and just north of that is Mar-a-Lago. The president was scheduled to be speaking near there. He's now canceled that trip after the shooting. We're looking at this, and all I know is we have 3 witnesses that are students that credibly say not they heard shots or heard there were 2 shooters. A couple of them are talking to, talking to the supposed shooter while the gunshots are going off. This is just beyond bizarre. But all I'm saying, Roger, to you, Matt Bracken via Skype, counterterrorism expert, former Navy SEAL, we can put the map I was looking at during break up on screen from Google Maps if we can. Nico Costa, our head lead producer, was showing it to me. Geographically, how does this feed into this? First look, the left's already blaming all gun owners. We're collectively bad, even though this is an example to own guns to protect yourself. And Salon, MSNBC, CNN, they all blamed Trump, saying he blamed the victims when he said the victims warned. Now the FBI has been confirmed to have been specifically warned of him planning a mass shooting event. So I'm not saying he's not a shooter. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this thing and the political connections and him training at some weird, white supremacist compound in Florida, when in my experience, I mean, like 80% of those things are run by Southern Poverty Law Center, ADL, Ford Foundation. The left has been caught over and over again running a lot of the white supremacist groups for PR purposes.
And infiltrating them so they can then manipulate them. Look, if there's a headline here, Alex, the headline is FBI screws up again. I mean, if the president needed more evidence that he needs to clean house at the FBI, starting with Chris Christie's nominee as FBI director, Mr. Wray, who was only a week ago fighting the release of the Devin Nunes memo exposing the misdeeds of the FBI.
They said it would cause a massacre like Oklahoma City if we released it.
That's right. We need a house cleaning at the FBI. We need to restore that agency's reputation for integrity. It's been rotted away. It's been corroded by politics. That's the biggest story here, because this apparently could have been prevented if the FBI was doing its job.
Well, Matt Bracken predicted this last Friday that'd be a false flag. And he's saying, no, I don't want to say that at this point, which I totally agree. We're just looking at every angle. The media will misrepresent what we said. But regardless, the FBI got warned by the school, by other students, YouTube threats. I mean, this is ridiculous. But it's kind of like Phil Mudd, formerly of the CIA and FBI, go on TV and say we're going to kill the president, and then do all this fake crying we'll cover next segment. And all these leftist groups saying, go kill cops. If I said kill cops, I should get arrested. And by the way, we've had listeners threaten and the Secret Service shows up. So if you're a conservative, a Christian, a libertarian, pro-military, pro-America, you don't call for violence, you get Secret Service visits. But if you're openly calling for violent revolution, you don't. What do you make of that, Matt Bracken?
Well, we're still in the non-shooting phase of the Civil War. And right now it's playing out in the military. Not only guys like Phil Mudd, a former intelligence analyst, not a CIA officer, field agent type, but just, an office wonk analyst. He's not a patriot, not an actual killer for liberty, but another little wimp that would give the orders. But they've also put it, this is like Project Mockingbird, but right in the open. The FBI's put a stooge at CNN. Mike Morrell, he's a former CIA assistant director. He helped, he was definitely a deep state operative. Reed Atkinson's book, Stonewalled. But Morrell's at CBS as a commentator. Yeah. So they're putting the Mockingbird stuff straight out in the open. I mean,
and that's when it's an agenda and probably staged. They've got their talking points ready. So regardless, they're moving. Matt Bracken, then Roger Stone. The narratives, get our guns, Trump's evil, everything's his fault. Where are they going to go with this? Because they're clearly lined up to go completely ape.
Well, anybody that defends owning an AR-15 is going to be portrayed as a pro-massacre person. The solution to this, there's two solutions to these kind of shootings that probably won't ever happen, except in local jurisdictions. One is arming teachers that are, for example, military combat veteran. We have tons and tons of teachers today that served from Desert Storm through Operation Iraqi Freedom and in Afghanistan.
This coach that rushed him and reportedly saved a bunch of kids, or rushed the shooter in the gas mask who got shot. Why isn't somebody like that have a concealed carry?
Right. He actually put the barrels, according to reports, he shot through the window of a classroom door and fired through the door. If there are a percentage of teachers that have a pistol in a lockbox, one of these finger combinations
instant access
you can retrieve in a few seconds, then this will be curtailed greatly.
Exactly.
But the other thing, though, is the glorification of these guys. The exception today is this guy died and apparently tried to get away. Who knows if he thought he was, meeting his contact, whoever that might be. He thought he was going to be part of an extraction plan, and instead it was an arrest plan. But, the exception was that he didn't shoot himself. which tells me right away this isn't the typical Columbine the typical shooter that.
Are you saying this points towards handlers that he thought he was going to get extracted?
Well, it just makes it. It's just an odd twist. That's all I'm saying. It
doesn't fit the regular pattern.
Does not. And if you want these things to stop, the other thing is we have to stop showing these guys faces and names. He should be known after the first, say, 24 hours. It's a news story. I get it. And whether they're alive or dead.
But I'll say this. He looked like a total zombie at that arraignment.
Yes, but it's like experts can analyze him to study it for the lessons that are learned. But the more important thing is when the media shows his face and name over and over again, when he occupies the media spotlight for weeks, he is in the media.
It's going to cause copycats.
The next shooter. He should be called the Parkland Monster, and his face should be pixelated so that there's only a negative connotation to this, that there's no glory. I want to go out in a blaze of glory like, Dylan and Klebold, like Nicholas Cruz. It should be the Parkland Monster, the Columbine Monsters, and that it should be a completely negative connotation. I mean, goodness knows, Rolling Stone, they put the Tsarnaev brother on the cover. They glorify.
Sure, they're always trying to do this because this is the culture they want, is to have so much mental illness and so much bad stuff. We're all treated like criminals. And when an Islamist runs over a bunch of people with a truck, they then blame, all vehicle owners. It's the same psychology. All right, Matt Bracken, enemiesforeignanddomestic.com. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to break here, Roger. 40 seconds. What do you think politically is coming out of this?
Well, first of all, you can already see the meme, blaming guns, blaming gun owners, blaming the Second Amendment, blaming mental illness. The Israelis have a much better take on this, Alex. This guy was planning this 7 months in advance.
Profile.
Exactly. The real story.
When you say, I'm going to be a mass shooter and kill people, you get your ass locked up and maybe a little electroshock.
So where was the FBI? That's really what I think we have to focus on. The more evidence we need a house cleaning.
And sure, I'm not a violent guy, and I'm against, when I be sarcastic, electroshock. The point is, you say, I'm going to go out and start killing people. Well, people come over to your house and they break your ribs. I mean,
Well, they certainly come and interrogate you,
yeah.
And they put you under surveillance instead of...
I'm sick of people running their mouths about violence all the time. It just makes me sick. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Fuel your body with Carnivore, the new digestive enzyme product by InfoWars Life. Digestive enzymes assist in the digestion process and increase the bioavailability of nutrients by breaking down foods into easily absorbable components. They also help prevent discomfort from indigestion caused by fermentation of undigested food particles in the gut. Digestive enzyme production declines as we age. Carnivore is filled with digestive enzymes like those naturally present in the body. Enjoy the full potential of protein-rich foods again. You can eat protein-heavy foods now while minimizing the later indigestion and discomfort commonly associated with high-meat diets. Just one pill with every high-protein meal helps increase the bioavailability and absorption of amino acids, the building blocks to your muscles. Carnivore also contains digestive enzymes to help digest fats and carbohydrates so you can fully digest all types of meals. Don't let a meal go to waste. Use Carnivore by InfoWars Life. Head to InfoWarsLife.com and secure your bottle now. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
The scientists at InfoWars Life have created a powerful formula for inflammatory support and joint support. Discover the power of ancient medicine with Bodies. Bodies contains one of the most potent forms of turmeric available. Turmeric has been used for thousands of years and is one of the most studied herbals today. It is well known in traditional medicine for its soothing properties. Our pure turmeric extract plus piperine from black pepper makes for optimal absorption to help boost and support your flexibility, mobility, joint function, immune system, and so much more. Regular turmeric root from the store only contains 1 to 5% of active ingredients, but our turmeric root extract contains over 95% of the active ingredients. Bodies combines turmeric with organic herbs such as spearmint, sage, lemon balm, and thyme to work synergistically for full body support. Try Bodies today at InfoWarsLife.com or call us at 1-888-253-3139.
We sell products directly to you that they ridicule, they attack, they try to defeat, they try to test, and it blows up in their face. And when you purchase books, T-shirts, videos, you name it, it makes it all possible. But you're going to forget to buy the next time. You need the high-quality supplements we have. And if you'll simply go there and test out the supplements, find out the ones you like, and then sign up for AutoShip, you'll get an additional 10% off. You sign up every 15 days, every 30 days, every 60, every 90. You can order every year, you get sent something. And if you'll just commit to get great products at low prices with us and shop with the good guys, it sets off a chain reaction. Now, we have introducing the new special, the InfoWars Life Mind and Body Combo Pack, 40% off for a limited time at InfoWarsStore.com. The best-selling Brain Force Plus Vitamin Mineral Fusion that's so great for yourself with the amino acids and all the vitamins and minerals. Great fruit punch for you and your children. Way more absorbable. It's all there, InfoWarsStore.com. And 50% off out of the gate, Body Ease, the ultimate turmeric formula that people are really responding to. You know, I found out they've got big publications going around trying to find people to lie and say that I don't believe what I say and that I don't like my audience. What? Again, don't believe what I say. We're building what we've talked about. We're turning it around. We're doing it. That's the proof of believing something. I'm 110% committed to this, and you know it. And when you fund us, they can't stop us. We're starting to see the orders rolling in, people saying they're listening and watching on TV stations. So praise God, the cavalry's coming over the ridge here. And so for all the censorship online and the stuff they've done trying to destroy us, they're not suppressing the signal thanks to you out there. I want to thank God. I want to thank my family. I want to thank this crew. I want to thank the audience. Again, InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, or 888-253-3139.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
Type compound. This is exactly, I've probably said 300 times the last couple of years that they'll attack a school with a mental patient type individual with a cutout from some leftist right-wing training camp that's run by the Ford Foundation funded Southern Poverty Law Center, who's got hundreds of millions in offshore bank accounts and is connected to the Communist Chinese and others. By the way, the word is they're looking at leaving the U.S. and fighting the U.S. from overseas. They have nothing to do with helping black folks vote in Alabama. So truly unbelievable. I am speechless at this point that Matt Bracken is going to be coming up in the next segment. I wanted to play, just because it's so important, Pence is absolutely right that the entire Kim Jong-un family is incredibly evil, and our media siding with them and praising them is truly twisted. Pence said, I ignored the dictator's sister that our media played up like she was some goddess. So here's that clip. Pence blasts evil Kim family, North Korea regime to the chagrin of our own globalist media that, just like North Korea, is a part of a foreign parasitic power. Here is that report. Then we'll come back with Matt Bracken live.
North Korea is the most tyrannical and oppressive regime on the planet. As the United Nations has documented repeatedly, North Korea is a nation that oppresses its people. 7 out of 10 North Koreans require food assistance just to survive. Over 1 million North Koreans were let to starve and die in the 1990s under this regime. Torture, brutality, imprisonment. More than 100,000 North Koreans as we speak are in modern-day gulags. As President Trump said memorably, North Korea is today nothing short of a prison state. That's the reality. And so the fact that North Korea is developing and pursuing nuclear weapons that could be delivered on ballistic missiles to the continental United States is completely unacceptable. And the fixed policy of the United States of America is that we are going to continue, with all options on the table, to bring intensifying economic and diplomatic pressure to bear until North Korea, once and for all, completely and verifiably abandons its nuclear weapons and ballistic missile program. That's the fixed policy of the United States of America. Now, as President Trump has said many times, he said, I always believe in talking. We've made it very clear that we're open. We're open to communicating our policy to the regime in North Korea. But what North Korea needs to understand, and as I made clear in an announcement in Japan, when we announced a new round of sanctions that will be imposed, the largest ever sanctions imposed by the United States, and we're confident our allies will join us on it in the days ahead, that nothing will change until the day comes that North Korea permanently abandons its nuclear weapons and ballistic missile programs and ceases to threaten the United States of America.
That's right. And be used as a pawn by the Communist Chinese and others to menace the entire region. It's a total power play for the South China Sea. We'll be back. By the way, he's the patsy, and more that's clear what he is. Nick Cruz is just now showing up in court. We'll have that live for you in 1 minute. Stay with us. Alex Jones here to tell you about how you can help spread liberty worldwide while also enjoying what I have found to be the best tasting 100% organic coffee on the planet. For more than a decade, my favorite coffee has come from the high mountains of southern Mexico, where the Chiapas farmers grow their unique shade-grown Arabica beans. We have now managed to secure these sought-after beans in a highly customized blend. Discover and try a bag of the Patriot Blend 100% organic coffee at InfoWarsLife.com. This coffee gives you a long, smooth pick-me-up for hours without the headaches and heartburn that so many other coffees give me personally. Hands down, this is my favorite coffee, and it's taken us years to secure connections directly to the Chiapas Mexican farmers. Drop by the site today, order a bag or two, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Available in original or with our Immune Support Infusion Blend. You will be supporting a free press, all the while enjoying a truly great-tasting cup of my favorite coffee. Every day. Oh, yes. You guys ship the narcotics in and protect it. It's so sad right now.
So, all of us need to demand a Congress brave enough to stand up to the gun lobby's lies.
You can see the word as he took like peppermint. At first he touches his eyes.
All of us need to
he's a good CIA guy. He's Middle East. He touches his eyes with peppermint or something, and then he cries. I mean, that is an old vaudeville trick.
We need the wide majority of responsible gun owners who grieve with us every time this happens.
That's enough to turn their guns in. I get it. What do you make of that whole fiasco you just saw?
Well, first of all, I would urge CNN to get Phil Mudd on as much as possible. At this point, he's kind of like Adam Schiff. We need him out there as a punchline. People see him and our movement grows. The opposition grows.
But Mudd looks like a lunatic.
No, it's so ridiculously phony. How could anybody buy into that performance? And the real takeaway here, again, Mr. Mudd, is your beloved FBI. Why were they asleep at the switch? They had advanced warnings about this shooter, and they did nothing. That's the news story today.
It's just so fake. But expanding on that, he's the one calling for violence against the president, and the government's going to kill him. He needs the visit. Just like this shooter in Florida and the FBI stood down, they need to go visit Mudd. Is he going to mass shoot? He's definitely cracking up.
Well,
I mean, would you trust him with your children?
I wouldn't trust him anywhere near my children. Look, I have a son who's a Broward County deputy sheriff. I have a daughter who's a nurse in the Broward County hospital system. My son was on the scene yesterday. He can't talk about it.
Well, I've had dinner with both of them. They're awesome people.
He can't talk about it other than to say, Dad, it was just horrific.
It happened.
And he has two small daughters of his own. My daughter at the hospital who attended some of those injured, she can't talk about it either other than to say that she's distraught and it's just beyond her belief. But let's not get anything confused here. This guy was planning this in advance. This cannot be based on the Second Amendment. It cannot be based on mental illness yet that we know. He was rational enough to make a plan. He was rational enough to have a plan to escape. The Israelis have the best take on this. These killers, generally speaking, have no tendency towards suicide, depression, alcoholism, drug abuse. This is a rational domestic terrorist.
It's confirmed, though, that if he is the only guy there, that they knew this was coming. So why is nothing done when you fit the profile and you say, I'm Nicholas Cruz and I want to be like the Whitman shooter at the tower. I'm going to be a mass shooter. Why don't you then get in trouble?
Well, exactly. Why does no one show up at your apartment or your home for, at a minimum, an interrogation? Why are you not put under surveillance? We seem to have the time and the resources to surveil the president of the United States in his campaign, but we don't have the resources to surveil somebody who has threatened a mass killing at a school. What's going on at the FBI? What is wrong with what was once the greatest law enforcement agency probably in the world? It's really sad.
And notice it's the media making stuff up, mainstream media, that introduces lies. Trump's like, oh, my gosh, everybody in the schools warning, the FBI was called. Why did this happen again? You know, all these problems. And then the media goes, fake media, Salon, you name it, that, oh, Trump's blaming the victims. That introduces that narrative. They're the ones that introduce the narrative by claiming that Trump actually said that. It's just...
Well, you can go on Twitter today. There are bots putting out the idea that there's a photo of the shooter wearing a Make America Great hat. No, there isn't. That's a lie. But paid bots, probably paid for by David Brock and the people at Media Matters for America.
And see, we don't even do stuff like that. We don't do those dirty tricks.
No, we get accused of it, but we don't really do it. I mean, it's really an absurdity. If the guy was at a white supremacist camp, trust me, 9 out of the 10 other people there were federal informants and on the payroll of the...
Well, we know that. We know that. So it's perfect timing. That's all I'm saying is I see false flag written all over this. And the witnesses, I don't know if you've seen the videos. We've had the student on, other students, very credible. They said multiple shooters. They said they were with him while the shots were going off. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Frank in North Carolina, thanks for holding so long. Go ahead.
Yeah, Alec, I just have to say something, man. It seems like every time I turn on your broadcast, you're bragging. It just gets old, man.
I'm going to shut you down right now, okay? We're taking calls about your nomination. Do you understand they're having congressional hearings trying to shut us down? Do you understand I'm ringing the alarm? If that was happening to anybody else, I'd be freaked out. I mean, what's it going to take? Us being shut down? Is that what you want, Frank?
You know what, Alec?
Hey, put him on pause again. Hey, Frank, do you understand it's not bragging to say we are the tip of the spear, we're under attack, we need your help? As much begging as I do, we can barely pay the bills and grow in the face of this. I'm not going to just stop growth and let them start pushing us backwards. You understand? I need your help, Frank. I need your help, Frank.
Go to InfoWarsStore.com right now and help fund the InfoWars.
Do you understand? I need your help, Frank. Free press needs your help, Frank. Clean, pure drinking water. You can't survive without it. But where do you get it? Alexa Pure Pro is a brand new, groundbreaking, gravity-fed water filtration system that is like no other. The Alexa Pure Pro transforms water from virtually any fresh source into clean, healthy drinking water, pairing the unprecedented superfiltration power of an all-new gravity block core with a hybrid chromatic shell. It removes up to 99.999% of impurities, including bacteria, viruses, fluoride, disinfectants, volatile organic contaminants, and hormones. Filter capacity up to 5,000 gallons. Stainless steel construction, easy assembly, low maintenance. Replacement filters are simple to install. And now, as part of an exclusive limited time introductory offer, you can save $20 off the retail price and get free shipping. This is a limited time offer, so order your unit today and receive free shipping and $20 off. Go to InfoWarsStore.com or call 888-253-3139. Melatonin's on average $19, $19.95 a bottle, and a lot of it's not even organic type. I talked to the big organic producer companies that we have make it, and I said, how much money is really in that? They said on average about maybe $1 of melatonin, and then the container costs 50 cents or so, or less. And I said, so I can put the same amount of melatonin in, just make it a bigger capsule, and it's powdered so you actually absorb it, and then add L-tryptophan, valerian root, lemon balm, chamomile, and then you get a sleep. Unlike other systems. I mean, Randall Wilhite, his name is on the Texas Family Code, the last 4 or 5 issues. I mean, he writes the Texas Law of the Family Code. He's one of the top family law lawyers in the country. The point is, he's a smart guy. Doesn't smoke marijuana, doesn't drink, anything. He goes, man, I got to really thank you. I am sleeping 8 hours through the night. I only have to take 1 knockout. I've gone and showed, UT Science this and everything else. This is insane. I said, yeah, you look 10 years younger. He said, oh, yeah, it's just, I'm off all the sleep drugs. He says, this is totally freed me. He goes, do you know what it is in there? And I said, it's the synergy of it. of the chamomile, the lemon balm, the L-tryptophan, the valerian root, the melatonin, and several other ingredients, all just moderate dose. They're all the recommended dose, and they just fuse together, and whatever they do chemically in the brain that Mother Nature, God gave us, Mother Nature, is incredible. So that's available, InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. But thank you for committing to get the great products, the books, the films, the T-shirts, you name it, because it takes selling a lot of stuff to be able to fund this. We're not like raiding countries like George Soros and stealing billions and then, you know, funding race war. It's just selling T-shirts, selling books, selling films, and, you know, just hustling to be able to get high-quality products out. So you have a great response and reorder. It's called Reap What You Sow.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show. Waging war on corruption. It's Alex Jones coming to you live from the front lines of the InfoWar.
By the way, Roger's going to be co-hosting the War Room coming up after the 4th hour with Anthony Cumia, always riveting, out of New York City. We'll have his take on everything. A lot of people say, hey, one guest says one thing, another guest says another thing. This isn't congruent like CNN or Fox News. We're not a cult. We're trying to figure out what's going on. We're breaking down what's happening. Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, has come out and called for the White House to go along with Congress to look at gun violence issues and gun control. So that can show you the type of people trying to get political points with mainstream media, which is completely pointless. Again, we've had this year and last year a bunch of truck attacks all over Europe and the U.S., killing hundreds of people. Do we have whole things about banning Opel cars or Ford trucks or Mercedes vans? No, we don't. It's an issue with people. Plus, mass shootings are flat. Overall shootings are down since 1992, almost 60%. These are facts. Unless you're in a Democrat-controlled area like Chicago or whatever, crime has actually been way down overall. It's gone up a little bit the last few years, but not from its overall drop.
You know, Alex, I think one of the problems here is that the president really, this is mild criticism, he didn't choose a wartime cabinet. He had an expectation level, not unreasonable, like every president before him, that the country would unify after a president election, that he would have some Democrats into his cabinet. He invited Al Gore to come visit him as president-elect. He invited the Reverend Al Sharpton to visit him. He put out the olive branch. He did not expect the whole Russian charade, the attempt to get a recount, the attempt to topple him in the Electoral College, this ongoing fraudulent investigation by Robert Mueller, the Trump is crazy campaign, the 25th Amendment campaign. He actually expected the country would come together. Steve Mnuchin is a liberal Democrat. Steve Mnuchin was the finance chairman of Donald Trump's campaign. He raised virtually nothing, almost nothing. The president has a soft spot for him personally, but he is not the strong man of this cabinet. Reminds me of something Richard Nixon once said regarding Elliot Richardson. He said, you know, when the chips are down, these Ivy League types will not stick with you. That's exactly right. We have some weak sisters in this cabinet.
That's it. I mean, if you look at people like Mudd and folks at the CIA, now FBI, compared to the people who actually do the work, people who do the work are smarter, stronger, everything. They put little, I don't want to say effeminate because it makes women look bad. They're these little mutated, grimy men that just weasel around and BS and backstab, and they're all looking for power. I mean, they're the ones running the country in the ground. They're the problem. Phil Mudd is America's enemy.
Agreed. And we have to keep saying this, unfortunately, because they mischaracterize our position. We are not denigrating the rank and file men and women in these law enforcement agencies. They are as disgusted as...
But Phil Mudd is a political sycophant of the globalists.
This guy's a political appointee. He's not a veteran lawman. The rank and file agents in both the FBI and the Central Intelligence Agency and all these federal agencies...
They're all listeners.
They're patriotic.
Let's say it. Let's say it. They're the reason Trump got elected, helping the American people. That's why it's a paradox. Like the worst thing is the government, the best thing is the government.
So they hate the politicization of where they work. They realize that it erodes the mission of the departments. We are not attacking individual FBI agents. They are good men and women. They are as disgusted as we are by the corruption at the very top.
And that's what I'm saying. The media makes it like, oh, they hate the FBI because they're saying the FBI didn't do anything. They were ordered to not do anything.
Exactly.
Just like San Bernardino, it was the FBI agents and federal marshals were under criminal civil rights violation 2 years before because the husband and the wife were going to Pakistan and Saudi Arabia for terror training. They were investigating the mosque, and Obama put them on criminal investigation to kill. They were ready to go to jail.
Yep.
They were pulled off the investigation and criminally investigated. So, again, it was good FBI and federal marshals, but they were ordered to stand down.
Look, this all comes back to something I said on yesterday's show. The president absolutely must get control of his Justice Department. That is the key to this. The crimes of the Clintons and the Obamas, the shipping of guns to ISIS, the illegal and unconstitutional surveillance of the Republican candidate for president, the crimes at the IRS, the crimes at the Clinton Foundation, the crimes regarding Hillary Clinton's email server, the rank corruption of the previous administration, the ongoing malfeasance, the illegal role of John Brennan. All these people should be prosecuted. All it takes is an attorney general with the cojones and a commitment to the rule of law. Right now we have Rod Rosenstein, who is the de facto attorney general, and he's playing for the other team.
And he ran the whole fake investigation. And let's be clear, the good thing coming out of this Russiagate is they jumped the shark, even though it's distracted from other news and become a whole false narrative we have to counter like a black hole. That is really what's happened here is it's proven the deep state, it's proven the criminal elements, it's proven their fraud, and it's drawn them out into crimes publicly that if we actually press the matter will be their Waterloo. And that's why they're so scared.
Well, let's put it this way. They put all their chips on red, and they lose. Why do Schiff and Swalwell keep saying, oh, no, there was additional evidence on which the request for warrants was based? Okay, boys, what is it? What is it? You have nothing. It's the fake dossier.
Well, just like you've been accused of solid evidence of Russian agent, they just say in Congress, I am. BS.
Yeah. No.
I mean, I know there's zero because there is zero.
Yeah, no, it's, they have.
And since when do they for years say somebody something? Where's our indictments? Where's the subpoenas? Give it to me. Put me in front of Congress. Like you said, no, it's all secret. They made you testify in secret because I will destroy them.
Right. They malign you in public. You know, it's interesting because we watched Mark Warner yesterday in a stellar performance, the senator from Virginia. When my lawyers examined the question of whether I had legal action against all these Democrats, and we cataloged what each one of them had said, and then we came to the conclusion that that there's a congressional shield. They can call you anything they want and not be held responsible.
But only in Congress.
The guy who was most egregious, the guy who said, I work for, Roger Stone works for the Kremlin, he said, was Mark Warner. If he were not hiding behind his congressional immunity, I would sue him in a heartbeat. I've never been to Russia. I've never had any Russian clients. I've never had any Ukrainian clients who were affiliated with Russia. It's a lie.
But isn't that their victory? That we should be working with Russia with all their resources, triple more what we have. Russia's now Christian, conservative. Regardless, they make us all denounce Russia, and then they're the ones in bed with some of the Russians, and then they control everything like they dictate reality. That's why I'm going to Russia in May. I'm setting it up. I'm going because I'm going to go find out who my bosses are.
You got to get one of those giant bearskin hats.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm going to go over there and preach Americanism and free market. I'm so evil.
Well, look, the point of this is pretty clear. What they're really upset about is that they didn't get the war in Syria that Hillary promised them. She promised the deep state a proxy war.
Let me ask about Netanyahu, because nobody's perfect, but the Soros documents, he wants to overthrow Israel. All these weird leftist Jews are funding the overthrow of Israel. That's in the documents, even the Jerusalem Post. And it's like, and now Netanyahu, they want to put him in jail over paying for a chef for meetings with foreign leaders. I thought a president got his food paid for. I mean, that's the kind of corruption we're talking about. It's the same way they want to go after Trump for nothing. Netanyahu, to me, is the beta test of how they're going to try to bring down Trump.
Well, what's interesting here, of course, is that they keep claiming that that the Russians interfered in our election. Obama interfered in the Israeli election, and the American taxpayers paid hundreds of millions of dollars for that interference. They really thought they had the defeat of Netanyahu's party in the bag.
And it didn't happen.
He won in a stunning upset. This is plan B for them. Oh, we couldn't beat him.
So it's about a bunch of Hollywood leftists wanting to run Israel.
Familiar? We couldn't beat him in the election, so now we're going to take him out on some trumped-up corruption charge. Does this sound vaguely familiar, this game plan?
That's what I'm saying. It's the exact same game plan.
Exactly.
And then I read the stuff. It's like they had 10 state dinners, and the government paid for the president of this country to eat dinner at their house.
So the guy,
I mean, they don't pay for presidents' dinners at their house with world leaders?
Yeah, no. Look.
So Netanyahu literally, I saw one of the dinner menus was Mexican food. He had enchiladas.
Yeah. The only good thing I hear is the guy who's supposed to step into his place is every bit a strong critic of the Iranian arms deal and very pro-Trump as well. So they lose in the end.
So it's like no matter what they do, they lose.
Right now. Let them try to win an election there. They outspent them and they outmaneuvered.
But why does Soros, I know he sold Jews out and, was a Nazi collaborator. Why is he in the WikiLeaks wanting to overthrow Israel? What's the point?
Well,
so the Arabs all kill each other over it?
First of all, he's a self-hating Jew. That's abundantly clear. And it's not just Israel. He's trying to overthrow the government of Hungary, the government of Romania.
He wants to run it all.
He really does.
All right, we're going to go to break, come back. By the way, toothpaste, high-quality, fluoride-free, and powered, fortified with colloidal silver and iodine, super blue, 50% off throughout the weekend, and then that sale is over, and a bunch of other 50% off deals are about to end at InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, takes right to the supplements, or 888-253-3139. But whatever you do, spread the articles and the videos from InfoWars.com and NewsWars.com. They're trying to kill our signal, but they can't stop you. Kevin in Virginia. You can jump anytime you want, Roger Stone. Go ahead, Kevin.
Hey, Alex. Hey, my girlfriend was hit by a car a few years ago, and she died twice on the way to Hershey Medical Center. I mean, so there was some serious brain injury, and she has a brachial plexus on her right side. She's kind of paralyzed on her right side. But besides that, I put her on Brain Force. Alex, her quality of life, you don't understand. She can remember names. She can remember a lot of stuff. And her quality of life, because of your product, is one of the best that I've ever seen. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart coming out with something like that, because you have changed somebody's life for the better. And it's one of the most powerful things that I've ever seen because of your Brain Force. She can remember things, and it's just awesome. You don't know how great and how happy I am because of that, and I thank you, and I know you're a real person and a good person because of that. I know you have the American's heart,
Well, absolutely. Look, I believe everybody doing good, then I do good, but we're going to set out to have a product to research whatever's already the best, then discount it, show you love it, and order again. I mean, it's self-serving as well. I take it. Roger Stone lives by it, don't you, Roger?
Yeah, no, look, of all the products on the InfoWars store, this is my absolute favorite. I find that I get this dip in energy, both mental and physical energy, around 4 in the afternoon.
Me too.
I pop 2 of these, and I get mental clarity, I get mental energy, I get a slight lift in my physical energy, and I'm able to work another 7-8 hours. And I really find Brain Force Plus just an extraordinarily effective. Yet I can sleep. There's no hang. You're not ramped up. You're not amped up the way amphetamines do. I can't say enough about it.
Kevin, we love you and thank you, and we're all in it together, brother. Thank you so much.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. You're listening to the antidote for fake news. It's Alex Jones.
It is Alex Jones. That announcer says a little too obsessed. I've called him and said, you're a great announcer, Peter Reif, but just don't say it like you're announcing the name of Jesus Christ. More like, it's Alex Jones, your host. It's Roger Stone. Some of these new liners I've not approved, but they're on. I don't mean to go off into a side issue. It's like, Alex Jones, oh. But seriously, strange. Responders throw body bag in back of truck amid Florida shooting. There's video of that. Very bizarre. You've got people reporting multiple shooters saying they're with the supposed shooter while guns are going off. That's on Infowars.com. We're going to find out about all of that. But what else is on your radar screen, and what are you going to be covering in about an hour when you co-host the War Room?
Well, one thing I want to say about the shooting in Florida, one of the odd things about Las Vegas was that we still don't have any answers. The sheriff's office, the FBI, the coroner, none of them have been forthcoming. The Broward County Sheriff, Scott Israel, is a man of enormous integrity. He's non-political. He's a by-the-book lawman. Even though he is elected as a Democrat, he is not a very political animal. Crime in every category is down in the county I live in, which is a major urban county. This is not a guy who will go along with a cover-up. It's just not his nature. And the investigation is his. The FBI is supposedly there to help. So unlike Las Vegas, I look forward to learning what really happened here, and I have a lot of confidence in local law enforcement where I live.
Closest to Mar-a-Lago.
This is in the western part of Broward County, which is the large urban county just north of Palm Beach. A 25-minute drive, perhaps, to Mar-a-Lago. Could there have been some effort to embarrass the president because he was headed there this weekend? Certainly a possibility. When I tried to ask questions about this, they're still identifying bodies. I don't think we're far enough along in the investigation, but I don't expect the kind of stonewalling that we saw in Las Vegas.
And by the way, we don't toot our horn because it's a tragedy. Vegas, the wheels have come off. They admit the basically arms deals, foreign governments, cover-ups, mind control. That's in the news now. I mean, it is crazy.
No, look, I give enormous credit to the investigative reporting of Laura Loomer. I think she's done an extraordinary job of busting this open, being unwilling to accept the official version of BS and cutting right through it.
She did a great job going to Vegas, and then we had our hostage rescue team sources that told us he went to the Middle East and the day after, and telling us the stuff that all came out later. That just shows how accurate those sources are. I don't see this derailing Trump. I mean, what else do you think could try to, I don't want to give him ideas, could try to stop the resurgence? I guess just infiltration, co-opting?
Well, in the War Room today, we're going to be talking about the scramble to become the White House Chief of Staff. I think this is fraught with real peril for the president. The right
and you did call it that Kelly's leaving.
He is toast. We could bring up a picture of a piece of toast on the show because he is done. Stick a fork in him.
How long till he's gone?
March. I say he is gone by March.
Hey, let me ask you this just briefly. Have you heard anything about military strikes end of March, early April against North Korea?
The narrative, I believe, is exactly the opposite of what the media keeps trying to tell us. They keep saying Trump's a madman. He wants to go to war. The generals are trying to restrain him. It's the other way around, folks. It's the president who's saying, look, they only respond to tough talk. Yeah, I'm beating him up. Notice they're at the table. The last thing he wants is a war. But he's using peace through strength, the Eisenhower-Reagan approach to these guys. And guess what? It's working.
Look at the craziness of the North Korean government. I mean, that is authoritarianism on display. A bunch of starving, skinny people with a big, fat, spoiled, rotten, nobody hereditary dictator running it all.
With a bad haircut.
That is a disgusting little haircut. I mean, what the hell? Even his sister's like starving to death, and he's this giant, bloated person dying of obesity. It's very archetypal. Hey, will you cover, then, what you just said at the start of the War Room in an hour?
Yes.
Because I want, and Anthony Cumia of Compound Media doing a great job. It's coming up next, compoundmedia.com, because absolutely Trump's got him to the table. He gets no credit. We know, well, talk about it all coming up in 55 minutes. Yep. Anthony Cumia straight ahead, and then the War Room with Owen Shroy and Roger Stone from the ATX worldwide. If you're receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. Great job, crew.
Maximize your potential and take your body back with Super Male Vitality. We're breaking the conditioning and fighting back against the globalists' war on male vitality. Our ultimate non-GMO formula is sourced from powerful organic herbs that have been gathered from around the world and then concentrated for maximum potency. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. InfoWars Life wants to bring you the highest quality products. Our unique combination of ingredients is designed to assist the body in regulating proper balance and creating superior vitality in males. Support your body and mind and take yourself to the next level. boost your vitality, and energize your life. Take control of your body. Grab a bottle of Super Male Vitality today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
You found it, the tip of the spear. It is the Alex Jones Show with Anthony Cumia.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Anthony Cumia in here at Infowars.com. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Yes, we've had another school shooting, and it's terrible. It's terrible. No one denies that these things are terrible. Social media just becomes alight with people just, we team up. We got our phones. What happened? School shooting. Let me get my team. Let me get on my team. And I gotta do the basic rah-rah cheers for my team and bash the other team. Now, of course, the teams are the left, the right, the Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, liberals, whatever you want to call them, the usual suspects. Those are our teams. One side, when these tragedies happen, blames the other side for inaction and actually says that there's blood on their hands and whatever their stance is, it has directly contributed to the deaths of children. Thus, then, they must want dead children. Because in this great age of social media and instant communication with our brethren, we take things from 0 to 8 billion in 3 seconds flat. It goes from, oh my God, there was a school shooting. Well, we still have a Second Amendment. You want to kill children. And it goes from, oh my God, there was a school shooting. Maybe we should do something. Confiscating my weapons. Like it's just, we have no middle ground here whatsoever. We separate into our respective teams and just start throwing crap at each other. And in the long run, and this will prove no different, in the long run, you will see nothing. Nothing will happen. A week or so will go by, if that. A story these days, if it goes a week, woo, unless it's like Trump stuff and the actual mass media, the news and whatnot gets a hold of it, then it could last a while. It has legs. Important things like this Russian collusion that apparently no one has seen any evidence of. But that kind of stuff will go on and on. But as far as what we talk about, the people talk about on social media, if a story lasts a week, it was a biggie. Because usually within 2 days, and if you throw a weekend in there, something could happen Friday, you throw a weekend in there, by Monday, no one remembers it, no one cares, it's over Johnny. So when you get a school shooting like this, it's huge for a couple of days. And like I said, we pair off into our teams. We sling crap at each other's heads. And then we move on to the next thing, like locust. We're like locusts, just destroying what's in our path and moving on to something else. And in that mess of social media, you pick out little nuggets of truth and a lot of nuggets of dishonesty and agenda and whatnot. So let's talk a little about this horrific shooting. First and foremost, I think you could not possibly have more red flags than have popped up with this guy. The see something, say something, the we need your involvement, the school, law enforcement, social media, parents, friends, parents of friends, all of that. Every single thing that happened in this case was a red flag that literally said, I am going to shoot up a school. That to me is more than a red flag. A red flag you have to interpret. That is a flag with I'm going to shoot up a school written on the actual flag. If he did that, which I wouldn't be surprised if it came out, if he marched around the school with a flag. But apparently he was on social media threatening to shoot up the school. He was expelled for his behavior in school or lack thereof. And everyone that knew of him in the school said, oh, yeah, this guy's nuts. He'll probably shoot up the school. He was, one report that I have gotten says that the FBI was informed on a couple of occasions that this kid was probably a problem. FBI and teachers warned about Nicholas Cruz. And still, nothing was done. I guess when he was attending school, he had been banned from entering the school with a backpack, which now kind of tells me, hey, they're afraid he's going to bring something in and hurt people. But nothing was done. So, again, we default to the hardware he used. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the guns. The gun. Whenever things like this happen, we run to the gun and say, that's the problem. That's what's doing it. If we just get rid of the guns, no one will want to kill anyone anymore. Or if we just get rid of certain guns, right? Because there are guns, I guess, that don't put holes in people. Is that what I'm led to believe? No? Oh, my staff is telling me no. Most guns do put holes in people, regardless of their type. I mean, when we after the break, we'll talk a little more about the certain types of guns. But just the idea that the gun is the actual focal point of the left, Democrats, they want what they call common sense gun control, common sense gun law. Because look at this guy, him and his actions, they just reek of common sense, don't they? Doesn't that look like a guy that would follow his common sense? Again, no one seems to understand on the left. Seems to understand that laws and living in a civilized society, treating people the way you want to be treated, having emotions, empathy, sympathy, other kinds of ithies, it's not in them. That is why they do these things. They don't have common sense. So they wouldn't follow common sense gun laws and regulations. This guy had one mission: to kill as many people that were in front of him in that school. Now, you could argue that the device he used was perfect for that. A semi-automatic rifle. Perfect if you want to kill a lot of people. But then again, it is a tool. It is used by many other people correctly, by law enforcement, by people that want to defend themselves and their loved ones, by people that are hunting, and by people that want to make sure the government doesn't get out of hand. These are all people that would use this tool in the way it was designated to use. Unfortunately, a maniac with no common sense will misuse that tool and take many lives. The problem isn't the tool. The problem is figuring out why this guy snapped and why the other people snap that do such things. Because call me crazy, but I honestly believe if there were no guns, these people would find a way to kill people. They've done it in the past with the automobiles, bombs, whatever else it takes to end a life. If someone wants to do just that, they will find a way. And again, it's a very convenient way, but a hammer is a very convenient way of hammering in nails. And in the hand of a carpenter, it works wonders. In the hand of a maniac, he will crack in people's skulls with it. It doesn't mean the tool is designed poorly. or should be restricted to people. Woman beats boyfriend to death with 2 frying pans. That's good. I hope she cooked him some eggs before she bludgeoned him with those tools. We'll be back. We'll be talking about this. This is a Florida massacre.
Make no mistake, we've made some major gains against the globalists, but they're striking back all over the world. Now more than ever is the time to get prepared with the highest quality emergency supplies across the board. Medical supplies, emergency supplies, communications, tactical, it's all there, and we're adding more and more every day of the very best products out there. So go to fortifiedsupply.com today to not just see the great products we offer there, but links to some of the other great sponsors that we have as well. That's fortifiedsupply.com.
Hey, can you beat Oprah, by the way? Thank you. Yeah, I'll beat Oprah. Oprah would be a lot of fun. I know her very well. You know, I did one of her last shows. She had Donald Trump. This is before politics. Her last week. And she had Donald Trump, and my family was very nice. No, I like Oprah. I don't think she's going to run. I don't think she's going to run. I know her very well.
Gavin McInnes, he agrees with the president. Hillary Clinton is nothing compared to Oprah Winfrey when you talk about incredible skeletons. And if she thinks she's really going to run in 2020, I think it's a bluff. Trump thinks it's a bluff. But Gavin McInnes, he's really up on his Oprah history. Gavin, I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with being a prostitute, but pimping women, bringing women to Weinstein, all of it. This is mainstream news. Let's talk about why you think she's unelectable.
You think of, you know, the identity politics vote, the woman vote, the bitter vote, the millennial vote, the dumb vote. She's got all of these different votes that end up being more than 50% of the country. The people who genuinely have skin in the game and get politics, they're a minority. So I was kind of scared. And then I talked to Roger Stone a second ago, and he goes, dude, relax. Can you imagine the kind of skeletons this woman has in her closet? And then he dropped it, but he's right. She's a lesbian. So I just think that Trump was alluding to that, and we've heard stories of her paying off people to hide lesbian affairs. She tried to hide that her husband was, her brother was gay, died of AIDS. She's tried to hide the fact that she didn't really grow up in poverty. I mean, she's such an obvious liar, and that works for daytime TV, but it won't work in politics where everything has to be aired out. She doesn't have a chance in hell. And when we watch the Golden Globes, too, we know Mira Sorvino isn't there because she said no. But everyone else, you look at them and you go, well, you're here. Did you say yes? I mean, Salma Hayek pretends she was a victim, but she did the lesbian scene in the movie for Weinstein. All these people followed the rules, and now after they've done this, which is really just very expensive prostitution, they put on their low-slung black dresses and go, me too. It's over now. I'm going to stop being an expensive prostitute. No, sorry, it doesn't work like that. You can't get on your high horse when it's fashionable. Look, we know what time's up means. It means I knew, we all knew, we let it go, but now the jig is up and everyone can see the casting couch. So starting today, we're not going to popularize it anymore. We're not going to ignore it. Ooh, how brave. You let 1,000 rapes go under the radar, and starting today, you say time's up. You're not going to allow rape anymore because it went public? Wow, what a crusader for justice you are. We're so impressed, you feminists.
You want to get raped? You want to get abused? You want to get killed? Go to Hollywood. Introducing Icarin, a 30-day liver and kidney cleanse, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. We have set out with top researchers and developers to bring you the strongest, purest, most potent, documented system for your liver and your kidneys. There are 2 different formula blends in one powerful capsule. It also funds the InfoWar, a total 360 win. Icarin, available now at InfoWarsLife.com.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show. Live from the Infowars.com studios, you're listening to The Alex Jones Show. And now, your host, Anthony Cumia.
Limited time sale on Cellforce by InfoWars Life. 53% off discount, $69.95. Several years ago, we teamed up with Dr. Group to create DNA Force and other incredible InfoWars Life formulas because they had outstanding standards. After a few years of delivering these powerful formulas, we wanted to improve on DNA Force and its Bio PQQ formula to help you get the best for less. We found a way to make it stronger and more affordable version, but didn't want to compete against Dr. Group and his amazing team. After consulting with him and his team, Group gave us the go-ahead. He only wants us to be able to provide our listeners with the greatest high-quality and most affordable products possible. That's how we came up about making Cellforce, because Dr. Group is making room for more of his products. We turned DNA Force Plus into a powerful new formula that utilizes the best ingredients possible. Other formulas with these ingredients would cost up to, $300. But we wanted to bring you that quality of product for a lot less. While we would normally put this out at about $150, I believe, we're going to even lower it to $69.95. This is the last batch of Cellforce. After this, it's going to become DNA Force Plus. If you like DNA Force, then there's no better time to try its upgrade. After this run of Cellforce, we'll be relabeling it to its true name, DNA Force Plus. Grab your bottle today and feel the power of a new Bio PQQ formula. I'm telling you, that's what you got to do, peeps. Welcome back. Anthony Cumia in at Infowars.com. We're talking about the Florida school shooting and, of course, the repercussions. The day after, oh, my God, everyone takes to social media to just yell at each other. And, again, a week will go by, if that, and nothing will get done, and we will be more divided and hate each other even more. Thank goodness for that. So what we hear is, the guns. That's what one side says. The guns. We got to ban guns, especially these AR-15s. And then you read, and people think AR stands for assault rifle, and it doesn't. Well, whoever says that, I just can't listen to your conversation. I have never seen a group of people so adamant about a topic, so passionate about a topic like gun control, that know absolutely nothing about guns. I would assume you would want to do a little research and find out what types of guns there are and how they're used legally by people, the mechanics of some of them. You don't have to be a gunsmith, but Jesus, know at least something about firearms before you go spouting off about which ones should be banned and why. And these are military-grade weapons that shouldn't be in the hands of civilians. I hope this isn't too technical for people, but the AR-15 is used to kill a lot of people in the shortest amount of time. It's a tool, and that is indeed what it is used for. Or hunting. People do hunt with AR-15s, contrary to some people's beliefs. It is a semi-automatic, which means you need to pull the trigger for every single shot. Every time a bullet flies out of the end, it means the guy holding it, or girl, perish the thought I'm sexist, had to pull the trigger. That's how it works. It's not a machine gun. It's not full automatic. And it's not a military, the version of what the military uses in civilian hands. It is a semi-automatic rifle. Semi-automatic rifles have been available to the general public since probably the early 1900s. If you remember those days. I do, personally. No, of course I don't. But they've been around for quite a while. A lot of them, many of them that act, that perform exactly like your AR-15 look much different. They look like hunting rifles. There is a rifle, an M1 carbine or carbine, depending on how you want to pronounce it. It is a prime example of a rifle that looks like a hunting rifle. It doesn't look like the black plastic military look of a rifle these days, like an AR-15. But it fires exactly the same. It fires the same round. It fires as fast as you pull the trigger. It has a detachable magazine that can be filled with ammunition and popped in. Yet these are not on this wide ban list that a lot of these liberals want. That indeed is considered an assault rifle, by the way. There are other ones that aren't, that don't have the pistol grip. See, if you have a pistol grip and a detachable mag in a lot of states, including New York, that would be considered an assault rifle. But there are ones that just have a stock, and that indeed, again, would be an assault rifle. Considered an assault rifle. I don't consider them assault rifles. I consider them semi-automatic rifles because they are exactly the same as the other ones with just a wooden stock. Your old granddad's Garand from World War II. How about that? But they do the same thing. They fire as quickly as you can pull the trigger. Now, do you ban those? And then we get to the point I was making before. Do we get to the point where we get guns that don't put holes in people? And then those are okay, but everything else, I've been told, oh, stop with the slippery slope argument. But it is. There is a bottom line end game here for a lot of people on the left, and that is absolute gun confiscation. The elimination of your Second Amendment right. And that is the only way they can fathom saving the children. They use these school shootings as much as the other side will to defend people having guns and carrying concealed, being allowed to carry in these no gun zones, which are absolutely ridiculous. So both sides will fight each other. Both sides will blame each other for the dead kids, and nothing gets accomplished because we are at complete opposite ends of the spectrum. But again, I honestly don't think anyone wants dead children. I think that's where the middle ground is between the two sides. Hey, can we agree? No one wants children lying dead on schoolroom floors? Anyone? Do we have a show of hands? Oh, look, it's everybody. How do we do that? And then you get the craziness. I think there are a lot of ways to at least cut down on the probability that this will happen. Eliminate it totally? Stop. Stop it. We'll post unicorns at the school doors, and the unicorn will spear the bad guy with his pretty glittery unicorn horn. You're talking about a utopia that can never exist as long as human beings are the animals that we are. So don't look for that. Don't look for an absolute solution. But there are certain things that can be done that I think should at least satisfy some sane people on both sides of this argument. And we'll talk about those in a couple of minutes when we come back around from this break. I indeed am Anthony Cumia. This indeed is Infowars.com. And we'll be back in a matter of moments. Did I start the break a little soon? Did I?
InfoWars Live is bringing you a breakthrough in modern medicine. We have found an extraordinary new natural way to help alleviate seasonal distress symptoms, including promoting clear nasal and sinus passageways, eye comfort, and respiratory health and normal breathing. This is Pollen Block. In the 1960s, researchers in France noticed that people who ate certain quail eggs from specific farms experienced less seasonal distress symptoms like runny nose, itchy, watery eyes, and excessive mucus production. They began studying the effects in published trials, Now we are introducing the fruit of the research, a fast-acting chewable tablet. Just chew 2 tablets at the first sign of seasonal distress, and fast-acting Pollen Block starts working in about 15 minutes to help alleviate seasonal distress. Enjoy the air you breathe naturally with fast-acting Pollen Block. Available now at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. You know, I've got some talking points here about Caveman from InfoWarsLife.com. But instead of going with those talking points, let me just give you what I've experienced personally. From all the wives' tales in every culture, we know that the bones have the essence. We know chicken noodle soup is great for people that are sick. Again, in every culture, this has been reported because it works. And there's no way to quantify how strong this is, but the amount of bone protein and the amount of marrow and the amount of concentrated life force that is in this is incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, whether it's for your joints, whether it's for your arteries and your veins, whether it's for your brain, whether it's for energy, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the strongest, most concentrated bone broth formula out there, and it's amazing. Find out for yourself today at InfoWarsStore.com what it could do for you and your family. And again, I want to thank you all for your support. You are funding the information war in 2018. Over a year in the making, produced by one of the top organic firms in the country, that if you want proven studies and documentation, I'm not going to speak for hours just on the files I have here, of what this is proven to do, the ingredients in this. This is the ultimate immune system boost for this time of year, any time of the year. But Immune Wall is incredible. And folks, other formulas that aren't even as good are $70, $80. It's a great deal at $39. Immune Wall, beta-glucans, olive leaf, and so much more. It is concentrated. You need to go read what is in here. The mushroom blend of the most expensive, highest quality mushrooms that just incredibly accelerate. A citrus peel blend. I mean, this is the next level. It's now available, ladies and gentlemen, Immune Wall. I think it's beyond seasonal. Beta, glucan, olive leaf, and more. Immune Wall, InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, or 888-253-3139. Let's go ahead and go to Lloyd in Washington. You're on the air. Thanks for holding.
Mr. Alex Jones.
Hey, brother.
Sir.
Good, man. Thank you for calling.
Hey. I just want to say thanks for your products and everything that you're doing to try to save the country. I mean, I've tried your Secret 12, Super Male, Anthroplex, the Silver Bullet, Biome Defense, Myco ZX. I mean, it's all good stuff. Secret 12, if everybody would just drop their energy drinks and get some Secret 12, take a shot of that.
Well, that's the thing about Secret 12. Just a half a dropper has way more energy, and it's totally, people ask, why is it sweet? Real organic B12 is sweet. And exactly, if I'm super tired, I go, hey, why am I drinking coffee at 10 at night if I'm going on some show like Coast to Coast? Boom, Secret 12, 30 minutes later, massive energy. It's amazing.
Yeah, that stuff will wake you up, and the clarity of mind that comes along with that is just amazing.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show. You are listening to an Infowars.com frontline report. If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. And now, your host, Anthony Cumia.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Anthony Cumia, Infowars.com. Well, solutions. People want solutions. They want answers. Why did these school shootings happen? Why weren't they happening years ago? Blah, blah. You just keep hearing the same stories. You go to social media, it's the same arguments, back and forth, back and forth. I think, again, maybe if we look at our past a little bit, we like to treat people these days like everyone is this special individual snowflake. And how dare you tell them that no matter how ridiculous they're acting, how insane sounding they are, that they're special and should be given the opportunity to express themselves and all this garbage that we've heard over the past 30 progressive years. And the bottom line is, as I knew growing up, some people are just idiots. And some people are just nuts. and that seems to be a constant in our little universe. But instead of treating them like that and going like, hey, be careful around that guy, you know, a little, they have to be treated with kid gloves and coddled. The coddling that has gone on over the course of a few decades these days has sprung up a crop of kids and young adults that are mental patients, legitimately mental patients. We didn't hear about these things many, many years ago in schools. The community was involved with schools back then. Parents a good family structure. Those were the things that were involved in schools. The administrators and teachers took more of a part in the individual students' lives, not just this mass thing that are the students. Oh, we got to usher them through and get them to the next grade level and then shove their asses out the door and get the next group in. There isn't that individuality anymore where you can really look and see if there are any issues that need to be addressed. And again, this kid, wow, issues. Every red flag went up. So Michael Ian Black, he's, I honestly don't know what he is. I've seen him on a couple of things. He professes himself to be a comic, I gather. But he's saying deeper even than the gun problem is this: boys are broken. Boys are broken. We're broken. Michael Ian Black pens powerful thread on violence and masculinity after Florida shooting. Boys are broken. Why would you think boys are broken if that is indeed an issue that Michael Ian Black is saying contributes to things like we just saw yesterday in Florida, these shootings? I profess to you, if indeed boys are broken, you're the ones breaking them. Every damn day we're hearing about how horrible straight white men are. We're just hearing how awful they are. Our society for decades now has just been pushing this lump of crap on masculinity and on men and their ability to act like men. And you become disenfranchised. You become like you're feeling like you're some type of pariah. You're going to lash out, especially if you're already half a psycho like this idiot. But if Michael Ian Black thinks that boys are broken, it's because of people like Michael Ian Black and the liberal left that is screwed with male identity so bad over decades that they don't even know what bathroom to go into anymore. They're dressing kids up in dresses at 6 years old and shooting them up with hormones to make them girls because that day he wanted to be a girl instead of a fireman, like he wanted to be the day before. This insanity that progressives are telling us is the new humanity is insane. They are trying to twist millennia of evolution of the male, the human male, and trying to twist it and bend it into something they want instead of something that we've evolved into over the course of hundreds of thousands, if not a million years. So when you tell boys they're broken, you broke them. We didn't see this crap in what I call the old days. Do you know schools many years ago in the 50s, 40s and 50s actually had shooting classes? Kids brought rifles to school like they would their books and pencils and went into a basement range at certain schools and shot, had target practice. And these kids didn't just turn the guns on the students and start shooting. They were allowed to be men. They were allowed to be men. They were allowed to walk up to a girl and tell her she was pretty and address her as she. They were allowed to ask a girl on a date and maybe awkwardly fumble for some romance on that night without being crucified and told that they're a pervert and something's wrong with them because they actually want to be in some type of intimate physical relationship with a girl. Insane, broken. Michael Ian Black and the rest of these Hollywood progressive morons. Look at this cute little tyke with a rifle. Look at this adorable little tyke. But this is like we were allowed to be boys and grow up into men and do things that men have done for thousands of years. And now that's bad. And when these younger minds are so twisted by what they're seeing, Michael Ian Black says that they're busted, that somehow they're broken and need to be fixed. There wasn't school shootings when, hey, kid, you'll shoot your eye out. There weren't these school shootings when kids were taking shooting classes in school. Be allowed to be proud of themselves, allowed to be men. You didn't see this garbage. But when you're so disillusioned and feel like you're the bad guy just for being a guy, then there's going to be a problem. You're gonna get more nut jobs out there. So Michael Ian Black, go screw. Oh, it's the same thing over and over with the leftists and Hollywood. Oh, please. I've seen it on Facebook and Twitter. They come out of their gilded cages, crawl out from under their rocks to tell us what we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to protect ourselves and our children, and what we should use to do that, and how we should live our lives. Shut up. Just stop criticizing people for wanting to raise their families in a more traditional sense. For some reason, we have to be tolerant, and tolerance just means put up with. Remember that. Oh, you're not very tolerant. No, I'm putting up with it. Tolerant doesn't mean embrace. It doesn't mean smile and do a dance when you see it. It just means to tolerate. You don't have to like it. You got to tolerate it. And when Hollywood and the likes of Michael Ian Black come out and start spewing their crap, that's when I've really had it. And I've had it even more in a few seconds when we return. Alex Jones Show, Anthony Cool.
I'm so excited. The new product at InfoWarsLife.com in a glass bottle, 2-month servings, filled to the brim, filled to the absolute top, the real red pill. This is a heart and brain pill, a nootropic that doesn't have any stimulants in it. But boy, does it stimulate, because it's beyond that. Quite frankly, I just went off what I saw medical doctors prescribing to their patients, but it wasn't prescription, but they were charging people $100, $200 for the formulae, and I came up with our own formula working with some scientists and developers, non-GMO, made right here in America, 120 capsules, and ladies and gentlemen, you add the pregnenolone to it, which is the precursor to all the hormones that your body has to have to even make the hormones in your glands. It is amazing. Red Pill, now available at InfoWarsStore.com, and your purchase funds the operation. Brett Smith, author of Thump, The First 100 Days. Explain to people about Thump and why this is an important book and how it ties into things.
And I just thought to myself, this is brilliant. This is the ultimate juxtaposition of what everyone says about the president. They say that he's a racist, misogynist, sexist, bigoted, homophobic Nazi. So what better way to counter that than by turning him into an incredibly cute, lovable, fluffy little bunny?
It's got that fun, rhyming structure to it. It's actually hilarious. I was cracking up reading the whole book. My wife was cracking up.
And it's a great book for adults. It's a great book for children. We're selling the book. We've got it bundled as well here with a one-off poster that's a collector's item. Both of these, the book, the graphic novel, and the poster, are $29.95. That helps support us. So get the book, Thump, The First 100 Days, and Alex Jones, and Thump, The Art of InfoWars, for a limited edition at InfoWarsStore.com. I started working with some of the top labs in the country many years ago, but intensely the last year, to bring out a lot of new brands. And I said, what is the cleanest, healthiest thing that goes after seasonal distress, the things that pollen and dust and all the trees and plants cause, but that doesn't have even herbs in it that speed up the metabolism and get you in a heightened state. Because sure, you're all jazzed up, your body's going to ignore the fact that it's under attack. I said, what naturally deals with it, but helps the body in its own way actually heal it? And they said, well, that is Japanese quail eggs, type of quail, Japanese quail, fed a specific diet by the French. They discovered this like 40 years ago. It's now patented, now documented, but it's got better rates in the studies than placebos and then, you know, a lot of the other products that are out there. So I continue to marvel at Mother Nature and what God gave us on this planet. Because the results we've gotten, just at the office, people with serious issues with pollen, with dust, you name it, the results we've gotten with pollen block have just been insane. And it just makes my head spin. Why did I not, suffering from this for so many years, not know about it? When it has alleviated my issues, like I said, 70%. I mean, it has been a game changer. I still sneeze some. I still might have a little burning in my sinus, but the pounding headaches, the fog is gone. And that's what personally happened for me. See what happens for you. Give us your review. We'd love to hear what you have to say. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, Pollen Block, 51% off out of the gates at InfoWarsStore.com.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show. Live from the Infowars.com studios, you're listening to The Alex Jones Show. And now, your host, Anthony Cumia.
Baby, do bad thing.
All Super Blue products at the InfoWars store. 50% off, limited time. In the fight to avoid outside toxins and fluoride, you may be missing one of the most obvious sources, your store brand toothpaste, my God. While you try to keep your mouth clean, you may be filling your body with unnatural ingredients and fluoride. That's why we created Super Blue fluoride-free toothpaste. This groundbreaking, fan-favorite InfoWars Life product, now 50% off, is loaded with the good halogen iodine and other powerful beneficial compounds, hand-selected for their oral health benefits. Oral. Featuring plenty of natural oils and high-quality ingredients used since Aboriginal and biblical times. Super Blue fluoride-free toothpaste will supercharge your oral health and leave you with fresh, minty breath. Just some of the ingredients in Super Blue fluoride-free toothpaste chosen by our dental experts and formulation scientists include peppermint oil, xylitol, iodine, nanosilver, and more. And if you're not a fan of peppermint, don't you worry. We also have bubblegum flavor. And you could also expand your fluoride-free products with Super Blue fluoride-free mouthwash. For a full and natural bathroom habit, it's time to start your journey, a journey towards happier, healthier smile with our Super Blue fluoride-free products at the InfoWars store. Make sure you get it fast. This incredible 50% off special. It won't last, but your fine teeth will. That's true. Welcome back. Anthony Cumia here, Infowars.com. We were talking about, of course, the Florida shooting and trying to come up with a reason. Everyone wants a reason. Everyone wants to know why did this happen? Well, Michael Ian Black says that men are broken. Boys are broken, and that's why this happened. And I submit to you, liberal ideology like that has broken boys. That's the reason why there's so many mental patients. No one even knows how to act like a man anymore. And here's a prime example of something. I'll do this quickly. Mom outraged after daughter was told she can't say no to boys at a dance. This is how dances go in school now, people. At first, Natalie Richard didn't believe her daughter when she said she wasn't allowed to say no to a boy at a school dance. The Utah mom told Fox News her daughter in grade 6 was informed by teachers she had to say yes to the boys who wanted to dance with her at the Valentine's Day dance. The mother went to the school to investigate. She found out the rule's been around for a while. The school basically said that they've had a dance set up this way for a while because they were concerned. They had a concern that it would be nicer. This would be nice. And the boys, you would have no one feeling rejected. And Michael Ian Black is telling us we're broke and schools are doing this. This is how you break people. It's called rejection. And you better learn it early, kids. You better learn it early because it will be a huge part of your life. Rejection in love, in business, everything. You will see rejection. And if you don't know how to handle it, you're going to go off and you're going to freak out. And boy, with this whole Me Too thing, isn't it odd that they're telling guys that girls have to say yes? It's so counterintuitive to everything they're saying. Then he gets down to the real world. He asks a girl if she wants to go out, or maybe they have gone out and they want to get a little intimate. She says no. He's like, well, they taught me that you can't say no. School says yes. It's insanity. And this is the type of moronic ideology that is driving men batty. And young men's minds are already batty. They're full of hormones and thoughts and everything else. So you start twisting it around and making it even more confusing. And you're going to end up with some real mental patients that might do some damage. How about you let him ask a girl, work up the balls to ask a girl out. And if she says no, well, now you got to deal with that. It's not easy, but such is life. Quickly, before we finish up, look, before 9/11, I remember before 9/11, kids. Let Grandpa wax fantastic about the old days. I remember these times. There was a time in, I believe, when I was a child, my daddy actually walked me into an airplane. Walked me right in. He didn't have a ticket. I was going somewhere. I had a business trip at 7. I had somewhere to go. My father was literally able to walk up to the plane, and there I was, and then he left. Well, things happened, and it made that impossible. And now, after 9/11, you see it. There's people, military, armed with automatic weapons at our airports, and we don't even bat an eye anymore. Security dogs, the security you got to go through is it's like a juggling act, and that is the new normal. Well, we'd all like to think that school is like little Nellie Olson and the Ingalls kids going off to the one-room schoolhouse with their lunch pails. Well, that just isn't it anymore. We need security at the schools. You're talking about saving kids. We need security at the schools. And I'm not just talking about armed people that are armed, whether it's trained administrators or actual guards that are carrying concealed weapons as part of the whole thing. But we need a security ritual at schools that will keep these people from getting in. A school should be a locked down area. There is apparently precious cargo inside. And it's treated like an open door policy where anyone could walk in. This has to stop. Sad about it? Sorry. Eliminating guns isn't going to do it. Trying to weed out nuts ain't going to do it. You have to do it at the source. Where are school shootings happening? At school. They're buildings with doors on them. Make sure these people aren't getting in. That seems reasonable. That seems like something we don't have to eliminate an amendment of our Constitution for. How are we going to pay for it? How are we going to pay for it? How are we going to pay for it? That's what I'm hearing on Twitter. How are we going to pay for it? I am an avid shooter. I am a gun collector. I am a staunch Second Amendment rights advocate. I would be willing to pay an extra tax on guns and ammunition that would specifically go to school security. How's that? Oh, by the way, within 2 years, some corrupt politician will line his pockets and cronies' pockets with it and turn it into something for his agenda. But to start, it sounds good. I am absolutely willing to pay a tax on my guns and my ammunition that specifically only goes to setting up security in schools to prevent it. We pay more in taxes and airfare and whatever else it took to get our security at airports after 9/11. We ate it. We realized it was an issue, and we dealt with it. We can do this at schools. Like I said, we know where this happens. At school. So secure the schools. If it upsets you as a parent that your kid is going into what you deem as some armed encampment now, relax. They're going to go in, they're going to learn, and it'll be safer. But these are the times we live in. You could argue the point of why we live in these times until I'm nauseous. And I'm nauseous. We could argue it forever. But the bottom line is we are living in these times, and something does need to be done about it. And security should be the first and foremost at this point. It's a solution that could be implemented very quickly. It can't be infiltrated by black market weapons after a ban, because that's all that would happen if you ban certain weapons. And we can't depend on lunatics to adhere to our laws and live in a civilized society. So parents, I apologize, but it does seem the only way to keep your kids from being shot in school is to keep people from getting into these schools that want to shoot your kids. And considering that 99.9% of a school is a building and the rest are doors, put the security at the doors and relax, and then you can relax that your kids are safe. But it's something that needs to be done. Well, continue your argument on Twitter. I'm going out tonight. I've had it. And we'll be back here in a couple of weeks. Thank you to Alex Jones and all the fine people at Infowars.com. I'm Anthony Cumia. You can catch me at CompoundMedia.com from 4 to 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday. Thank you, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks.
This is the best deal we've ever offered on our flagship product, DNA Force. And it's got a very interesting story behind it. I was at a medical doctor's clinic facility that had top-of-the-line nutraceuticals and was noticing that they were $200 to $400. And then I talked to my dad about it, who is a physician, and he said, absolutely, this is the biggest area in nutraceuticals and supplements is longevity and keeping your telomeres in place. You can't make telomeres grow. You can just make them not shrink as fast. Well, I designed DNA Force with Dr. Group, and Dr. Group's a great guy, but then we were going to come out with Cell Force because I was able to find just as good of the same compounds for a lower price and was able to develop Cell Force. And Group liked the formula so much, he said, listen, we were going to come out with DNA Force Plus. You just use that name and do it because this is such an incredible formula. And I understand you're going to one of the biggest labs in the country. And so you were able to scale up in lower price, and I want to do that. He was so classy, he just said, you just put out DNA Force Plus as Cell Force, or vice versa. Because I was partnering with him on that. That's how classy he is. So Cell Force is a limited run. When it's gone, it's gone. It will be called DNA Force Plus because it's stronger than the old DNA Force, and it is less money. So it's a good deal normally at $149, like DNA Force was, and we'd sell it for $99 on sale. We're selling it for $70.45. Used to, that's almost what it costs to make a bottle of DNA Force. Well, now we've lowered the price on the ingredients by buying even more, just as high qualities. We're lowering it for you. This is the best deal ever on DNA Force. It's DNA Force Plus, but called Cell Force, because we weren't going to step on Group's toes. We just put out Cell Force separately with a similar name to DNA Force, and it's even stronger and a lower price, super high quality, promotes cellular energy production, supports optimal mental health, and so much more. And it supports the InfoWar. Get the best deal ever at InfoWarsStore.com.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order, it's Alex Jones. You are listening to an Infowars.com frontline report. If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. From deep in the heart of FEMA Region 6, Austin, Texas. Transmitting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
Yet again, we are seeing total information overload, vicious massacre, 17 dead, dozens more wounded at a Florida high school. We, of course, were covering it live yesterday, right to the evening, as it unfolded. And there are now so many angles to this. You've got the hero coach now confirmed running into the hail of gunfire, saving many people and being killed. You've got the police responding pretty quickly compared to a lot of other situations that we've seen like this. We've got Salon and CNN and others saying that Trump blamed the victims when he simply tweeted, wow, there were a lot